3-1. What a game, guys. 3-1. Obviously, it slowed down towards the end, as expected. That's gonna happen. But a solid 90 minutes, nonetheless. McKenny, what a game. Deuce on with the deuce. Chiesa on the board once again. 2 weeks in a row. What else could we ask for? Honestly, that's more than I expected. I gave a 1-0. I thought it was going to be a slow game. Very slow with Allegri and Sarri going at it. But we got 3-1. So I'm ecstatic. Because I am solo, I'm not going to dwell on much today. I am going to get this link copied and we are going to roll right into the Collins show. Going to let you guys start talking. Owen's got the prediction right. So you got the 3-1. Okay. And the woman, it still says it's going to the whistle go. I have a 90 plus 5, 3-2 Juve woman. So did they have the final whistle? I don't know. But link's up there. So join on in if you want. We'll roll into this post-game Collins show. We got a bit to talk about. We have the game, of course. But while we wait, there's Pogba, there's Bonucci. I don't know which one's worse to start with, Pogba or Bonucci. But Pogba, latest I heard is that he is calling for it's not the appeal, but the words do escape me. But he's the review. He's going for the review. So we'll see. He's currently suspended. We're going to have to see how things turn out, essentially. Was it October 10th? I don't have any of the information up. Let me pull it up so I don't bullshit you guys. But effectively, he's getting paid minimum wage right now because that's just the labor laws. See if I can get it. So yeah, I think it's 2,400 euros a month he's getting paid currently, opposed to I don't know how many hundreds of thousands that works out to his contract. Probably like 240,000, right? Making 1% of what he was. But that's basically it. So we think, or from what we understand, it's something that happened when he was in Miami, getting treated by his doctors over there. There's some sort of topical cream. Might have testosterone, gets your testosterone to spike. I don't know. He got caught for doping for high testosterone levels. Obviously, not all the fine details have been released. That's what we know of the situation. So we're looking to terminate him. Is he staying with us? Is he going? I think it's a little too early to tell. It's going to depend on the investigation on the case. We're used to this. Wait and see, right? Let's just see what happens in the future. Another lawsuit, another, in this case, doping scandal. I don't want to say a scandal. Too high testosterone levels. It's not like he's taking crack or anything, right? Or you can say, yeah, it's performance enhancing, but you know what I'm saying. It's nothing egregious per se, but at the same time, he should have been smarter than this. When you're at this level, and when you have all these medical professionals, and you know that there's standards, right? And then you just go willy nilly to some dude in Miami. It just seems irresponsible. Okay, here we go. The Pogba case, the exam is scheduled for September 20th. So that's another 4 days. Tuesday. So that'll be meant to be content. I do see a full time though on the women's game 3-2. So Nilden and Grosso, that's mine and Dash's favorites right there. And I think just a general favorite all around, Christina Girelli. 3-2 over Pomigliano. So both Juves win. Excellent. So I don't know, David, if he's still in here. F1 qualifying. I'm going to look it up now. Now that can pay attention. Qualifying in Singapore. Just give me the Just give me the list. Why can't it? Oh, Jeff is in. How's it going? How's it going, bud?
What's up, man?
Oh, not much. Okay, so yeah, I was talking about Pogba. Do you have anything to add on Pogba, or do you want to move on to the post-game stuff?
I think for the Pogba case, I don't know. Like, I'm really interested to know how they do the testing. Like what do they count? Like, what do they put into account? Is it just testosterone? Is it the amount of red blood cell counts?
I'm not sure.
Those are like the details I want to know about, like the way they test for doping.
Well, hold on now. We got Kevin in here. Yeah. Kevin, you got some signal.
It's working this time. Awesome. How are you guys doing?
Wow, that was a great game. Yeah, how you doing?
That was a lot of fun. Since I've moved here, I've been coming to games like the last season and a half. That was probably the best game other than that Inter home win, the 2-1 with Fagioli's goal towards the end. This one is right up there. What a match.
It was, I think we had fun. I don't know, Jeff, it's different for me than it is for you, obviously. How was it for you?
For me? I loved it. Yeah, I thought it was a great performance. Yeah, everything about it. There was a couple of mistakes, but I like how they were reacting towards it. Reacting towards their mistakes, and they did really, really well as well. So, yeah.
Let's talk about that mistake. The goal. I don't know, from your perspective, Kevin, what was going on there?
I think it was just sloppiness, right? And I feel like we know what Allegri ball did to us the past couple seasons. You get a lead, we feel content. We kind of slow down a bit, not pushing the same way that we were, and we just kind of go deeper and deeper into our half, and something like that can happen. I'm glad we reacted in the right way. I like what Jeff said. I mean, we didn't just try and then hold on to the 2-1, and we went for it. What a freaking pass from McKennie, and the control from Vlahovic was insane. I'm sure you guys just talked about that already. But I'm sure Allegri will be giving them an earful about that goal. But
and what was he yelling at?
It's hard to find too much wrong with this match.
The last few minutes, he was yelling.
Say that again?
Allegri was yelling at the end of the match there, like the 80-something minute. You know what that was about? He was looking up to the crowd.
I didn't see that.
Okay.
I wasn't paying attention to that, so I don't know. What was happening around that time?
Nothing, though. That was kind of the thing. Nothing was really going on, and then all of a sudden it panned over to Allegri losing his mind at something.
It was the free kick. It's when we gave up the free kick in the final seconds on Rovella.
But who's he yelling at?
I don't know who he was yelling at, but that's when he started yelling.
More likely yelling at Milik because he had that horrible foul.
But that's he was looking up at the crowd, right? That's anyways, if we don't know, we're just speculating at this point.
I think he was serenading some beautiful words to the crowd.
In any case, Kevin, I guess the big thing today, because we kind of hyped it up a little bit too, was the ultras, and we heard them on TV. It's never the same. Did they do anything different, or were they just in full voice?
Dave, I'm going to rejoin. It sounds like everybody's underwater. I'm going to try and rejoin real quick. I'm sorry.
All right, no worries. Okay. Connection problems today. I'll figure that out later. But what's he doing? Okay, he's finally disconnected. I guess we'll bounce back and forth. I know this is disjointed the way we're doing this with Kevin. I don't know. When Kevin's here, you got to give him the airspace, right? But Pogba, Frankie, since we're still on it, give us your take on the Pogba situation.
Man, just stupid, pure stupidity from him. That's really all it is. It's like, come on, man. You're a professional footballer. You've been doing this for years now. You're literally one of the veterans of the team. You have to know at this point, unless it was like without his knowing. But I mean, at this, you got to think he knows. He knew what was going on.
Yeah, it makes you question things, right? It's not an isolated incident. So it's just like, man, again, really?
I think I have like two theories to this. It's like theory number one, he probably took it like he took advice from an expert, meaning like a holistic doctor,
Yeah.
trying to like have recovery, trying to recover much quickly from his injuries. Or two, probably using the testosterone to have muscle recovery far quicker. But again, it's also what I want to know is like the way that they test for doping. That's really what's going to determine that.
Yeah. Kevin, how you sounding now?
That sounds a bit better. What were you
Right.
asking before? I'm sorry.
With the ultras today, did they do anything extra? Did they like push their bounds, or was it just like, we're gonna show up, be respectful, and be loud?
So it was actually pretty cool. So prior to the match, they were outside the stadium. There's a road that runs parallel. So there's the stadium there. There's a road here where the ultras were actually parked, like physically in the middle of the road, blocking all of the traffic,
Nice.
singing, and just with the flags, and like the police had to divert traffic. So they were there for a bit. And then slowly they started marching towards outside the stadium, and they continued to play drums, use megaphones, sing a lot of the different songs that they have. It was awesome, a lot of energy. And then they took it into the stadium, and we've seen this before. So it actually happened at the Milan game last season, where they staged a similar thing with this gathering outside the stadium. But then when they went into the stadium, they stayed silent. So it was kind of this protest to show what they're capable of bringing. And then when they get into the stadium, they stopped. So they were very clear this time that they wanted to bring the atmosphere into the stadium. But then for the first 5 minutes, they did nothing. And that was intentional. So I heard from Maurizio was telling me that they were going to refrain from doing anything for 5 minutes. And then exactly at the 5-minute mark, it started picking up again. But it was great. I mean, you can see what a stadium atmosphere just does. It just provides such a lift. I'm assuming it was visible on TV, and like you could feel it being different.
Oh, it was loud. It was
Yeah,
very loud.
very
You could
loud.
hear it.
I loved it.
Awesome. Yeah, it's fantastic. I hope it keeps up. There were many more flags inside the stadium than normal. So I don't know if they're relaxing some of the rules, because there were flags of a certain size that should not be allowed in there based on the Allianz rules that aren't the same in other stadiums. So I don't know. Maybe it's a good sign of things to come. Maybe it's a flash in the pan. We'll see as the season progresses.
Yeah, and Ellie's asking if it's a one-time thing or if they'll continue. I guess we don't know that for sure yet.
We don't know, and it's hard to know who's actually making some of these decisions, because sometimes I see stuff being posted, or I hear stuff from different groups that they're going to do something or not do something, and then it doesn't follow through. So I think part of the issue now with how everything has happened, it's hard to know like who's actually making decisions and who can enforce things. So I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you.
I have a question actually. You said about the flags. You said about the flags not being appropriate. Elaborate on that, because I don't have any idea. Because I like literally people were saying it was not appropriate. Is there like the words or the jing?
So there's a couple of things. So one, they do have a limit on the size. So like if you look at, probably the best example is that like you're at the Stadio Olimpico in Rome. Like you see the flags at the sizes that they have at Roma Lazio matches. It's an amazing atmosphere. Here it's somewhat banned of a certain size. So that's one thing. Second thing is anything related to like logos, political sentiment, anything that could in any way, shape, or form be interpreted to be like politically incorrect. Like when you walk into the stadium through security, they look at everyone's scarves and everyone's flag to see if there's something potentially written on it in a certain way. but there were definitely larger flags, a lot more stuff in there today. So it was different. It was different.
You're
Say
definitely
hi,
gonna watch out for Lopsid's flag.
Hey, everyone. Luigi. And a couple other guys I think I've seen before.
Yeah, absolutely. We have another Luigi interview coming as usual.
Oh, nice.
But any other excuse me, any other questions? I'm gonna grab a beer with these guys.
No, I think that was great. Thanks for the insight.
yeah.
We always love hearing from you. And yes,
Absolutely.
obviously,
And I
grab
will
a
say,
beer.
no matter what the Italian papers say tomorrow, Duzon will be named man of the match, but it was McKennie through and through.
Oh yeah, he was given man of the
Yeah.
match already. I'm pretty sure. That's
No, he played.
yeah.
He had a really good game for sure. I'm happy. Yeah.
I was really surprised. He was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Big Mac did well. Big Mac.
All right.
Spoken
you
by
guys
3
later.
Americans.
Fino alla fine.
Enjoy your beer.
No, I kid. McKennie did have a great game despite it being verified by American fanboys. I'll speak as a Canadian. But yes,
I'm not an American fanboy. I'm a Mexican fanboy.
Okay,
You know
but
that.
I mean,
we know
you
that.
know,
But I am in America. So.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. The bias. I'm just
I'll
trying to
pick
expose their bias.
American fanboy. Yeah, I'll pick both.
Okay, so I mean, I think that was enough on Pogba. It's ridiculous. We still don't have all the answers. We'll move on from that. The next thing is please like and subscribe and do all the thumbs up thing because it helps the algorithm, helps really push this out. So please do that. But we need to talk about Bonucci. My God, Bonucci. I don't know. Somebody just take this one away because.
I have a really simple comparison. I think Bonucci is like a high school girl, a legend. I respect him. I love him. He did a lot of great things for over the 9 years that we dominated. Obviously, he contributed a part of the big trio with Barzagli and Chiellini. So for that, can't get mad at him for that. Obviously, he went to Milan. Obviously, he did the stupid celebration, and then he came to Juve and tried to become the captain, failed. And now I think he's a little bit salty. He's a little bit bitter. And, they kicked him out the door and he's feeling some type of way. So to me, he's acting like a high school girl. It's a shame. It's sad. Juve could have been on their part and did a good farewell match. But for me, yeah, no, he's like a high school girl. It's unfortunate.
He had a fall from grace as well, right? And for me, for everyone, it seemed that it was so obvious. But not to him. And it's like, how full of yourself are you that's what he's claiming, at least, that he didn't see that this was coming. Like, we all saw that it was coming. It was so obvious, right? We talked about it so many times, but apparently he had no idea. Like, come on, man. It's ridiculous. Oh, Frankie, what's your take?
Obviously, I have respect for Bonucci for everything he did for the club and all, but this is just petty, man. You're just being petty at this point. You're literally like a kid breaking down and having a tantrum because you didn't get your way. That's literally all that's going on right now. Like, at this point, you're in Union Berlin. That's your team. You're in Germany. Enjoy it. Enjoy pretty much to the last couple of years of your career. Like, why are you over here trying to pretty much berate the club and talk down on the club, saying this is not the Juve that I know and all this other nonsense he was talking about? It's like, yeah, obviously it's not the Juve because it's a whole new Juve. It's progressed. We have younger people now. The people that you came up in the system with are no longer there.
The thing as well, when you compare to the other guys, even though some of our legends or veterans had kind of been forced out of the club, but we know that our club leans to the corporate side of it. It's very corporate.
Yeah, it's business minded. That's all it is.
So this is sometimes you have to cut your ties, right? You cut your losses. I mean, we still give him the pat in the ass, whatever. We need to do a better job. And if Colin was here, he'd be screaming about this, how we treat some of our legends. But you look at some of them and how they still showed grace as they left, as to not burn those bridges. You can even, and it's not even as bad. You look at De Ligt and how he kind of talks shit about Juve after he left. And even though he's just talking a bit of shit, He didn't do anything serious. He's not suing the club. But how much respect did he lose from the fan base by doing that?
Oh, loads. He
And-
lost loads of respect. People are just making fun of him now that especially that he's getting benched by Upamecano and Kim. He's literally getting benched by like the secondary center, like pretty much the second string center backs now. Like,
Yeah.
dude, he's gonna get memed.
I think the fame got in over his head. I think he still has a lot of potential, but I usually don't like this when the youngsters, predominantly like the 18, 19-year-olds, get compared to like a former legend, and then the ego gets in their head, and then they just kind of become complacent with their performance, and then they start not doing as well. He also has to keep into account that like De Ligt's best performance was under Allegri. And then, after he left Juve the year after that, he starts talking crap. But that's insane to me because he didn't do that well under Sarri, and he didn't do that well under Pirlo. For me, he did his best under Allegri. And then after that, he was pretty much talking crap about how he was handling, how Allegri was coaching the team. So that thing I didn't like that much. So that's my thing about De Ligt.
Yeah, not to digress onto De Ligt, but
Yeah.
making a light comparison, just how
Yeah.
like you don't have to behave this way, right? He was still considered a legend. He still played 500 matches. Yes, his last couple seasons weren't great, but we would have had, as a fan base, put that behind us, understanding all the great things he has done for us, despite leaving for Milan, despite saying some kind of stupid things in press conferences and whatnot. We knew he was a bit of a hothead in that sense. But now, sorry.
No, I was going to say I wanted to also imply was like what Bonucci really needed was Chiellini to travel over Berlin and beat him over the head and not say this stupid stuff.
And that's the thing. Chiellini always kept him in line. And once he was gone, and even with Chiellini around, he would still say some dumb things. And I'm sure they went for pasta afterwards, and Giorgio was like, Leo, like, what's wrong with you? What are you saying?
Just shut up, Leo. Come on, stop. Keep your cool.
Vlad reeling us back to another defender here. He was impressed with Gatti today. His passes were great. He did a lot of what De Ligt used to do with us. Now compare how much Gatti cost. Frankie, go for it. This is your boy.
Oh man, I dude, Gatti. He started off pretty slow the first half. Didn't really do much. No, not really. He didn't go up as much. I feel like he was playing a lot more defensive because we were trying to like get into the swing of things and kind of feel out Lazio a little bit more. But once that second half came through, and we had that nice 2-0 cushion. I saw him going up a lot more, and he was doing some incredible passes. He was, oh man, if he would have scored that dribble through in the box, oh, I would have been going crazy for him.
He almost always has a dribble through though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he always has to dribble through. I mean, that's a good skill to have as a defender, especially, if you're able to dribble through people as a defender.
Absolutely.
I say give me 11 Gattis on the field. I love his spirit. I love the work he puts in. Like, though I know he doesn't have as much of a ceiling as De Ligt, like the dog that he has in him, the fight that he puts in the field is a lot better. It's
the grinta. It's that grinta, man.
Yeah.
Grinta, yeah, I love it. I think it's way better. I'd rather have that over De Ligt any day.
It goes a long way. And that's all I'm saying. Like, just actually show the love. You talk about Bonucci's case. Oh, all the memories, everything we've done, blah, blah, blah. It's like, just show that then. If it means that much to you, or are you incapable of showing emotion because you're a psycho? I don't know.
I think Bonucci loves this club, but he also needs to go to therapy. I think he has a little bit of a narcissist problem.
Yeah, there's something. I don't want to speculate too heavy, but
not like a big spectrum, like a very on the small spectrum of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and Vlad saying our center backs don't need to be flashy, but Gatti kind of is in a sense, and he's not flashy because he's trying to do Rabonas or anything. It's just because he plays like an attacking midfielder sometimes.
Yeah, I believe Gatti was like somewhere around like 5-6 mil. I think they paid for him, so it's not too much,
No, it was. It was probably expensive for a somewhat untested center back.
Expensive for a Serie B center back. But yeah.
I think also, but also keep into account. I think he was like the player of the season for.
Yeah.
Wasn't he?
He was a Serie B defender of the season of the year. That's what.
But that doesn't always translate to the next league, right? And that's
obviously.
always the gamble.
That's how he started off too. I mean, he started off like, you know, everybody writing him off, saying that he wasn't good, you know, because those first couple games he was playing real sloppy, but then he got into it.
I think also to add to this is that I think Gatti put himself in a good situation going to Juve, because I think one thing I will give Allegri the credit is I think he's able to make defenders much better. He's able to bring the best out of their defenders again. Even with like Danilo, what he did with Danilo, like, you know, I didn't like him as a right back, but I think what he did with him as a center back is a lot better. I think he's a much better player as a center back than a right back. And I think he can develop players defensively. He kind of like, it's like a Bill Belichick vibe. I don't know. It sounds a bit weird, but that's what I wanted to go through.
Oh, shoot, y'all. The Serie ball running wild, 2-0 up against Manchester United.
Oh, man. Sweat page. Sorry, I'm trying to get the transfer market thing to look proper here, but here we go. So, if we can make sense of this, from Frosinone to Juve in January 2022, so 1.5 plus 5.4, but they gave him back for 1.5. But then there was another fee of 5 million.
So yeah,
we paid 10 point.
So we loaned them to Frosinone for free.
For the rest of the season.
Yeah, he got loaned over there for free. So yeah.
But that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, you have the 5.4 and the 5. So did we pay 10 essentially for him at the end of the day? I need somebody that's better with the books for me to break that down.
I believe we just paid the 5.4.
Yeah, because I know we didn't pay 10. We didn't pay that much for him. But maybe I'm wrong. Somebody else correct.
I believe it was just the 5.4.
I think at the end of the day, it's a very good buy. You know, I still think it's a very good buy. That was worth 5.5 million, 6 million, whatever it was. So
the gamble worked out. We got lucky on. I shouldn't say lucky. We scouted effectively.
Yeah,
and it's great. We got a nice Italian defender who he's what, 26? He's still 25. So
yeah, so it from what I see here, it was 7.5 million plus 2.5 million in add-ons. So yeah, roughly 10
so
million.
10. Okay, so it was 10 mil.
Yeah, it was with the add-ons and everything. So yeah, I mean that's still, I mean, a lot at the time for a Serie B defender. But he's proving his worth.
Yeah. For that price, even it was a gamble. It's a gamble that worked out. I'm happy. I think we're all happy. We love him.
He's worth more than that now. I think his transfer value is like 12.5 mil, so like not too much more, but still.
But yeah, it's gone up. We overpaid for him, but we can still make our money back at this point.
Exactly.
Good business. End of the day. Now, segue off the defenders and lawsuits. There is another one. Ronaldo.
I've seen it.
Ronaldo is suing for 19 million.
You gotta be fucking kidding me. I just heard this right now. I didn't hear this until you guys said it.
Okay. Well,
I saw it on X. So I was like, yeah.
So this goes back a bit to last year, at least, when it came out that they were cooking the books, essentially, right? And that through COVID, they promised to pay for this many months. I think it was 3 months. They only paid for 2 months. So Ronaldo was missing out, I guess, a month's worth of fees. I don't remember precisely the breakdown of the 19 million, but that was his loss of fees that he was owed, essentially, through this cooking of the books. So he's basically suing Juve now for that 19 million. The details, again, will come out more so as they're presented as evidence in court. But I mean, that's kind of a kick in the nuts at this point, right? And we don't know if that money goes towards their actual transfer money, and gets counted towards the financial fair play, or if it's just a straight business expense. But anyways, Jeff, you're just hearing about this. Let's give your like firsthand reactions on it.
What the fuck? I don't know what to say. Oh my god! Like, it's like one after another. It's like a nice little domino effect. Like, God, thanks. I gotta say thank you to Paratici. Like, you're amazing. Yeah. You're amazing. You literally found a way to like build everything we worked hard to build for 9 years, and you just like threw it on the ground. You're like, fuck it. We're going to mess shit up. We're going to go all in on the poker chips and say we're going to win the Champions League, get Ronaldo, and then buy some cheap midfielders so we can help them. And then expect great results. Yeah, no. I mean, to one degree, I could understand Ronaldo, but then on the other degree, I'm like, bruh, you're making $400 freaking million in Saudi Arabia. Like, why do you need 19? Like, what the heck do you need it? What, you're gonna buy an island or what's going on? Another like, why?
I mean, it's still money. It's still 19 mil. I understand from that perspective.
He's gonna buy his son a mansion. That's all he's gonna do.
Okay, if it was like a Pjanic, if it was like an SMS and a hypotheticals, if he was to play for Juve and this happened and he wanted 19 mil, understandable. But Ronaldo, obviously one of the best, greatest players of all time, alongside Messi. He's a billionaire. He's complaining about 19 million. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on. No.
So Vlad's saying it's not Paratici's fault. COVID completely fucked us over. I don't want to say it's not one or the other. Like, it's a bit of both, right? Like, the business plan was set up unsustainably, though. It was set up with the current market conditions. Now, obviously, the market conditions changed, but that was a risky move, and they knew that they were putting everything on the line. And if you watch the Amazon All or Nothing, he's even bragging about it on how he convinced the management to do this. Like, oh, I came in with this crazy idea, and they were basically going to tell me to go screw myself, but I convinced them, and there we go. Yeah. We just spent hundreds of millions of dollars on Ronaldo.
As I previously pointed in, it was like literally we want so much. We're like, screw it. Let's put all of our chips and go all in and try to win the Champions League. Obviously, that's what it was for.
And when you get to the finals, like you just your consistent performance, essentially, right? In the Champions League, year after year, tasting victory, but letting it slip. At that point, you don't do the full rebuild. The only step forward potentially is to go all in on somebody like Ronaldo. Obviously, market conditions completely changed. That first year, it didn't work out anyways. Again, there's too many moving parts, right? You can't just slot in a Ronaldo. I can't believe we got down the whole Ronaldo thing. We're talking about this again.
Regardless. No, I'm only going to bring this one time, and for what I've only learned about the Ronaldo era is simple. If we're going to play attacking football, if we're going to have like a prime, like a good number 9 striker, like an elite level goal scorer, we need to have a good sustaining midfield to be able to create chances for our players to have goal scoring opportunities. And I'm not just saying that Ronaldo hasn't scored goals, but I'm referring to the games that are needed the most. Like, if we had a creative midfielder to be able to play against Porto or against Lyon, the games that we lost, obviously, or against Ajax, then we maybe Ronaldo would have had more chances to score. What I'm saying is that, like, if you've seen Ronaldo, he's been like exposed to some of the like really good midfielders. In Man U, he had Paul Scholes, which is very underrated. And then if you're going to Real Madrid, he had Mesut Ozil, Xabi Alonso, Toni Kroos, Luka Modric. Yeah. And he had these players at his disposal for him to create more goal-scoring opportunities to score. With a Bentancur and a Rabiot, granted, Rabiot's been playing a lot better these past 2 years. He's not going to be scoring as much goals as he would in Madrid because he doesn't have that support. Even with Messi, even with like he had Xavi and Iniesta, and he was able to do all those great things. To play attacking football, it's like the Louis Vuitton or the Gucci of formations of the starting 11. You need to still have a good supporting like system, and that costs a lot of money, my man. So for me, just buying one player and expecting everything all on him is just insane. That's it.
Yeah. Man, it always comes back to Ronaldo, it seems, right? And the fan base is never really
I mean,
I
all
don't
that
hate him.
pleased.
I think he's a brilliant player.
gotta-
He did his job. But,
he's got to find his way in the news somehow, you know.
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, but his passing is still ass. But then you say Rabiot. Are we just talking about Rabiot's passing?
He's talking about Rabiot's passing, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got a Vlahovic quote after the game actually now. This year we are angrier. We have unfinished business. Last year I wasn't well from start to finish, but I'm not looking for excuses. He's talking about Pogba. He's a friend of mine and a great player. I wish him the best of luck.
All right. Where's that source coming in from? Is that the press conference?
That's from the Zone press conference thing.
Okay.
I know
very
it's not
nice.
going to be from Gazzetta dello Sport because
No, it's from the Zone. It's from the
Oh.
Zone.
So,
I actually trust the Zone.
like stuff like this doesn't surprise me. Being in the U.S., like watching American media, this stuff like this is no surprising to me. So yeah.
And I'll just show the standings as well. Provisionally, we are in first. So Inter and Milan
They
are
play each other.
they play each other.
Actually, in a half hour they start.
So I mean, if they pull out a tie, we're tied in first place
Awesome.
with like Juve, Inter, Milan. Yes,
which is
4
honestly
games in.
which is very possible.
It is very possible today. Yeah. So interesting. Stay tuned to that. That can be very exciting.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Even so, I mean, worst case, we're coming out second place after the fourth week. So right where we should be, honestly.
Yep. Napoli plays Genoa today.
I will
and
be.
then-
Oh, go ahead.
Because Lecce is up there in fourth technically right now. They play Monza tomorrow morning at 8, which honestly they might lose that one. Monza.
Yeah,
Monza's
we'll
been
see.
surprising. Monza's been surprising, man.
Yep. But yeah, Genoa, Napoli, Cagliari, Udinese, Monza, Lecce, Frosinone, Sassuolo, Fiorentina, Atalanta, which that could be interesting. That, that's for that like 5th to 7th place battle, Roma, Empoli. Roma needs to start doing something. So they should take Empoli at home. Salernitana, Torino, and Verona, Bologna. So it's weird when we play the very first game and we're just waiting for the other state.
It feels very odd because like I'm used to having to around like it's like usually like 2:45 my time. It's like when
Well, I think it should be definitely a 2:45 match, yeah, or like the main event match. I mean, this was pretty much or at least if not the main event, the 12 o'clock match, and then the Milan Inter should have been the 2:45 match.
Yeah, that for sure. But even because you have Sunday,
Napoli.
So I get, because it's Champions League, Lazio, that game is going to be played on a Saturday, right? And then Inter Milan, but the two Milans, okay, it makes sense. Play them on the Saturday, but yeah, to have the earliest game for this one, I don't know.
The Genoa Napoli game should have been the first game. I'm sorry, but yeah, that should have been the first game.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man.
When was the last time we topped the table? Yeah, it has been a long time.
It's been a minute. It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, that's actually a good question. Somebody pull that one up for us.
For
Right
starters,
off the top of my head,
I think for starters, we can say because every season Allegri's been in, I've been like saying he's gonna do shit in August, September, and then mid-October, all the way till mid-October, and then from there he's gonna do well, and then he starts going on a winning roll. But now he's actually not as bad as last 2 seasons. So I do think for that, thank God. And I do think that hiring Magnanelli from Sassuolo definitely played a big role too with the way they're attacking. So they have the defensive capabilities where like Allegri's organizing them defensively, and then Magnanelli's working with Chiesa and Vlahovic, with Cambiaso, Wea, and Kostic and McKennie to be able to utilize them. So I think that's a really good positive start.
no, it's looked good, and that's a good point. Thanks for bringing that up. That Magnelli has obviously contributed some coaching acumen to this team.
adding, I would say that modern attacking football. That's probably like that little touch. I think that's what we were missing. I think that's what Juve was missing. And getting rid of Cuadrado too was actually a really good thing while adding in Weah. Which, hey, look, Cuadrado's done amazing for Juve for the past years that he played.
And technically adding in McKennie.
And McKennie too. I think like surprisingly is one of those things where like also I gotta give Max some credit. Like he sometimes will pull players out of position and they will work. It's the same thing with the Danilo. Like he started he wasn't that good as a right back, but playing as a center back was good. Even with
Sandro for that matter.
Yeah, even Sandro being as a center back, I think he's abysmally bad regardless, but I think he's not as bad as being in the center back as he would as a left back.
He's less horrible. He's less of a liability.
Yeah, much less of a liability for sure.
That's because he has two more guys next to him. They're going to try to bail him out.
Yeah. But again, with the left flank actually pushing up offensively, it has allowed Sandro to be a defender and not have to move up the field. So it's worked out in a sense.
Yes.
So
our midfield needs to be better, though. I'm done.
Yeah, it's improved, but we're getting there. But yeah, it still needs some work. Frankie, you're posting up. What is this? Something on McKennie up in the Discord?
Yeah, so it's a CBS Sports, like the post game. They're pretty much they were doing it during the halftime show too. It was like the post game. They've just been praising McKennie, and that's that Americanism right there for sure.
Yeah. Well,
that's
guys, check out the Discord. Definitely join the Discord to get those kinds of feeds going on, right? We can't put all that stuff up here, so it's nice to have it. People may be controversial saying, I like Filip Kostic today. Good replacement for Sandro, my boy. He's not really the replacement for Sandro I guess in a sense you can.
Not really.
He's a good replacement for Cambiaso, but yeah.
It's more like he comes on kind of like after Cambiaso. It's like starting usually, but yeah. I actually really didn't like Kostic that much today. I thought he was just kind of like bang average, except for like a couple of good stops he had.
He had a good shot.
No, I thought he did fine.
But yeah, he wasn't the best. He was just kind of like okay.
As long as he does his job, I was fine. I think Bones was saying earlier, like Loca. I thought Loca did really well. I hope he continues this trajectory.
He doesn't get enough credit because of the style he plays, the role that he's performing.
Yeah, it's the position he's in where he has to constantly rotate out from the midfield back into the defense, back into the midfield again. People just don't give him the credit for it, and he's gonna get hate regardless of whether he played well or not. They're just gonna say, "Oh, he didn't even show up."
He's gonna get like a 6.5 every single week, though, and that's fine for what his role is essentially. Yes, do we want him to move up the field, have a true regista? Maybe it would be nice, perhaps, to see him move up.
I will say this though, like I do like sometimes I notice it with flashes, like his defensive capabilities aren't as bad. Even when I was watching him in Orlando, he was he knows how to win the ball. And sometimes when he has the ball in tight situations, he can pass the ball. Like he's very composed. I noticed that when I was watching him more in the Orlando match. That's what I could tell with Locatelli. But in the last two games, he wasn't as composed, as good. But like I feel like after this Ukraine match that he went with the national team, hopefully he can go in the right trajectory.
So FootMob actually has Locatelli rated the same as McKennie. They both are at an 8.0.
At an 8, there you go.
Yeah, with Rabiot's actually higher rated than Loca at an 8.3.
Jeez, they were just throwing out 3-1 win. They're just throwing out what did Cambiaso pick up?
Cambiaso actually was one of our lowest rated with a 6.3. Timmy Weah was actually our lowest rated with a 6.2, but he
didn't play that much.
He came in late.
Cambiaso gave the goal up, right?
I would say take that rating with a grain of salt.
No, of course. It's just reference points, right?
Lowest defender was actually Bremer, though, with a 6.8.
He didn't have his best game.
And they did give Vlahovic the man of the match, according to FootMob. But yeah. With a 9.0 rating.
That third goal was beautiful. Because I did not expect that from Vlahovic, because his first touches are usually crap. And
Nobody expected that.
Tested that perfectly. He touched it and then just shot it. I thought it was beautiful. I think if he continues to this, he could be the top scorer, at least in the top 3 goal scorers in the league. So
With the way Immobile is playing right now, I doubt it's gonna be Immobile. I
That's
doubt it's
exactly
gonna
what I
be
was
him.
gonna say.
I doubt it's gonna be him with the
Yeah.
way he's playing
well,
right
it's
now. He
gonna be a
played-
fight between my prediction.
Osimhen's gonna be they're fighting for
I
it.
think
Man.
the top 3 predictions for me will be Osimhen, Lautaro, and Vlahovic.
It's probably a pretty good call.
Yeah.
That would probably be my take. I don't think
Yeah.
it's going to be Giroud either, and Leao's not.
no.
Yeah, I don't think Leao's going to be scoring like
If Abraham was healthy, I would put Abraham in the mix. But yeah.
Nah. And I think with Mourinho, a lot of their players are very injury prone. I think they're having a lot of injuries.
Is it Mourinho or the Stadio Olimpico?
It's the Olympico, man. It's the Olympico. Dude. It has to be. I wouldn't want to play on that stadium. No, I'd cry, dude.
But not as bad as Macedonia.
Yeah.
That was disgusting.
Our former Juve boys actually horribly played for Lazio today. Very, very low rated. They actually, and you could even see it in the game. Pellegrini was getting cooked on that left-hand side. Rovella, he came in like I think somebody said in the chat too. He came in kind of hot, but then afterward he just like faded into the background.
And I mean that's the thing. People were so upset, and I understand why, but you have to sort of trust the management as well, that they see things that we don't on the training pitch, that mentality, just even how they react at dinner or traveling on the bus, all these little things, right? And I think with those two, Rovella and Pellegrini, you can just see today they were undisciplined. They got easily rattled. And you don't want that on Juve. That's not the type of player Juve is looking for. That's why these players kept on getting loaned out and then eventually just sold to Lazio, because they're the trashy enough team to take them.
You know what I was gonna take about this match after this Lazio Juve match, what I was thinking before coming here, it was like the theme of it was for the Juve management is composure and patience. Lots and lots and lots of patience. Because like I think normally if this was a Chelsea or a City or a PSG, players like McKennie would have been out. Players like, Rabiot would have been out. Allegri would have been out. And they kept them. And I guess it's kind of paying off. Because I didn't want them either, like 2 years ago. So
gotta appreciate the long game, right?
Yeah, the patience.
And that's what I've been trying to remind people of, is when you're in a rebuild, it takes 5 years. I think we're at the 4th year of the rebuild. Mm-hmm. And our rebuild has not been a true rebuild. We've had to reset a couple things. Last year was a mess. I mean, we're finally now, if our trajectory continues at the 4-year mark, starting to do something sustainable and enjoyable. So patience.
Definitely. Yeah, but like you said, definitely composure, especially with all the stuff going around the club, obviously outside of the game. This was a very, very good win with a pretty good tactical game from Allegri.
And that's actually a good point too. We saw that last year where some of these things on the outside affected our play on the pitch. And 2 lawsuits and a doping ban in 1 week did not seem to affect us.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we praised Allegri for this last year too, saying, with all the stuff going on outside of the game, he still handled the ship pretty well.
Yeah.
And he's doing it again. I mean, as much as you can say, oh, Allegri this, Allegri that, he's consistent when it comes to dealing with outside interferences in this game.
And I mean, that's so much. And I mean, you have a good boss, a good coach, a good whatever, superior, whatever you want to call it, if you don't notice the bullshit. Like that's their job, is to deflect that so everyone else is able to do their job. So despite Max's faults, I think it's worth echoing that that's one of the things he does really well, is shielding his players from a lot of the bullshit. And he saw that in the press conference. Even Bonucci, who isn't even his player anymore, just being very diplomatic, right? Kind of calling him out in a sense, but not straight out disrespecting him either, right?
Yeah, he just kind of like, like soap operas on Channel 5. I'm not here to deal with
Yeah.
it. It's like,
Yeah. But
this
that's
is
after he
a little
was.
dig,
You
little
know,
dig, but that's
I
fine.
was I put it on the chat in Bepe's live a couple of days ago for the Allegri pregame conference, and I said something like, I think Allegri reminds me of a politician, like a kind of
Very
politician.
much.
The way that like he handles himself in the conference, he knows the BS, the whole like journalist BS game that goes around. They try to always rattle him, ask him the same questions. He always gives them the same answers. Doesn't get rattled too much. Sometimes he adds a little bit of humor, puts the Pinocchio reference in there, and sometimes he just says the same thing and deflects and answers another question. I think he handles himself really well in that aspect. Because the one thing is, if that was Conte, he would literally I think he would have went Trump 2.0 or something to that degree. So,
Yeah. And that's for our team right now. I mean,
yeah.
You need that. Absolutely need that. But let's move on. I don't know if there's much in this. I feel, Frankie, you might know something about this. The Rugani Twitch ban.
I actually don't know anything really about the Rugani situation.
Tell me about that. That's interesting.
So it apparently didn't mount to anything because I think this was 3 days now. No new news has come out. I just kind of threw it out to the chat to you guys to see if there was something maybe I missed. But it was his wording that translated into, he basically called something retarded, which is a word that people don't like.
Yes, that's considered a offensive word now.
Yes. I was trying to beat around the butt. I mean, it's basically what he said to translate into English.
So pretty much what I said about the Interistas, about the little chromosome joke, but obviously I won't use that again. But I get what you're calling.
Similar lines, yeah. I mean, you got to be careful, especially on social media, using these terms.
Man, like there's like a line. Obviously, I know, like with the whole free speech thing that goes on. Like obviously, there's a line. Like we gotta use common sense and know when to read between the lines of what things are contextualized as. Like using the R word and like saying, oh man, that's a bad thing, like you're offending other people. I just don't think that's as bad. Like obviously, like people understand the context. Like when you're saying that, it's like saying, hey, you're normal, but you're acting like an idiot, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, that's the context. If people can't even read that, it's like, what the heck?
I think this is the algorithm though, right? Like the algorithm just picks it up. So even me saying it here, it could like pick it up and I'm like, oh, we're demonetizing you, blah, blah, blah.
I mean, I think the whole how YouTube acts is very, very weird because like there's another YouTube channel. Obviously, it has nothing to do with soccer, but it's the Fresh and Fit podcast, and they have said incredibly unhinged stuff. Like it's to the point where like I don't even know how they didn't get demonetized and how they didn't get like banned sooner. It's like recently, and that to me just make no sense. Like obviously, there's more to this.
There is more to it, and you never fully understand it. And in a lot of cases, if you're not just like straight out just being egregious about things and you use it with a sense of satire, if the platform is making money, they're not going to really do anything until there's like legit complaints. I think that's part of it.
But I also think it's like the more Twitch viewers you have, the more subscribers you have, the more money you're able to bring into the platform, then you're going to get away with half of the crap. It's the same thing with the Fresh and Fit guys. And then if we go to the Twitch streaming, you have a Hasanabi guy that like literally all this guy does is talks crap to his chat. Literally all he does. So it's like, yeah, nothing happens.
I found an article on it. It's like, I don't know what language this is. Oh, here it is. It's an Italian article I found. Okay, cool. So translated, it comes out to Daniele Rugani has ended up in trouble. All for a word said on a Twitch live broadcast. He was on a broadcast for a streamer called KF Frenzy or K Frenzy. Frenzy. He's like one of the, I guess he's one of like the most popular streamers in Italy. and they were gonna play Fortnite. And what he said was, if they see us dressed like this, they will push us straight away because they say like kind of like they looked handicapped kind of thing. So it's like one of those kind of things. Like, you know, he said kind of lost in translation probably, but like I'm saying some kind of word like that.
Yeah.
Oh my
There you go. Thanks for bringing that up because I only found Italian articles as well. So Vlad's bringing something up here. I didn't even know this. Thoughts on Conte being present in the stands today?
I did not even know that. I didn't even know he was present.
I think I'm just going to chop it up to the fact that I think it's a restaurant he owns or his brother. I don't know. He's got business in Turin, and he's interning a lot. It could have just been one of those things. And I mean, if you're trying, you stay in the game, right? Like he's not outside of the game yet. So why would he not watch it?
No, what I think it is that he's watching the match and he's looking at Allegri dead in the eyes and goes like, "You better not screw this up, buddy." Take that shit.
No. He's trying to learn from Allegri so he can not get fired again.
How to be more corporate and presentable.
How to be more corporate? Yeah. How to be more corporate? How to be more corporate and actually keep your job?
Never happen.
Anthony's saying, "Congrats, guys! So shut up, Juventini, who lost faith in Dusan and wanted him sold. If Chiesa and Dusan stay fit, we can challenge for the Scudetto." I don't think he's incorrect. Yeah,
most definitely. That's a true statement for sure.
And I had my doubts. I said, I admit, like if we can get the 70, even 80 million for him, trying to save some money, I think it was the smart way to do the way he was performing. But we've also always said that we want our players to do better and to make the team and make our team win.
Yeah.
And that is what's happening right now.
I didn't care if Dusan left as long as we got a lot of money for him. But I think even him staying, I was happy. So to me, either or, as long as we got money. But yeah. And as far as with the Scudetto, I have three. I'm only gonna base it on a three-way race. I think it's gonna be Juve, Inter, Milan. And with Juve, their advantage is they're only playing once a week, so they're able to prepare and rest much better. With Milan, they have a very good squad depth. I got to give them, they did well in the Mercato. But what's going to hold them back, I think, I could be wrong, is that I think Simeone Inzaghi, the way that he prepares for leagues is not as good. I think he's a good cup coach. I think he's a good Champions League coach. Obviously, he proved it. But I think as a league coach, I don't think he's going to do as well. With Milan, that Pioli's a good coach, but what's going to hold them back would be the injuries because they have a lot of injury-prone players, very competent players, very good players, but they're injury-prone. Due to the fact that they're injury-prone, might hold them back. So, like, if we're able to read between the lines and recognize the opposing team's weaknesses, we can win. I don't see this as why not. Yes, the other two sides are good. But we could definitely win the league. Like it's very, very possible.
A big test definitely will be Juve Milan, like AC. That'll be a very, very big test because like you said, they have incredible depth. Pulisic has come into the Serie A and he's pretty much fit right in immediately. He's doing well for them. You know, Giroud's out here scoring again. It's like dude's turning back the clock.
I think Giroud's injured though, right?
I believe
he got injured in the France game.
I believe he is, but I mean, it's like more or less, just like they're scoring again. They're coming back and they're trying to do something. They did because they did a really good in the market this year. It was they had incredible signings,
Well, you got to thank the selling of Tonali and the FIGC. Obviously, the FIGC.
Yeah, definitely.
You got to love that. Gravina played his cards right. That's the only way they're gonna beat us. Obviously,
I think though the underlier for them that's actually gonna really, really help out is Ruben Loftus-Cheek. He's gonna be like their main core in the midfield. He's gonna help them out incredibly a lot.
I have a hot take on this for Milan. I feel like one surprise player is going to be Giannis Musa. Like I said, I have a hot take on that. I think he's a good player.
Yeah, I mean they have loads of good players they got this year. I mean, Chukwueze getting that last minute too, like he's incredible himself. The guy's fast. He is fast as hell. He honestly, I'm a little worried about if they were to put Chukwueze on against Gatti. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little worried. Dude's fast. He might burn Gatti.
Well, then again, we got Weah, we got Chiesa, we got
Yeah.
And then honestly, we put it into consideration. Milan's defense is not that good. Their goal,
so
Maignan is good.
That's what I was gonna mention. I was gonna mention their weak points, probably their defense. With I mean, they have Calabria and Florenzi for their like right hand side, and then you got some Mori who's pretty much not looked as nearly up to his potential that he was. He was like supposed to be like up here as like one of the next best English defenders. Everybody was up in arms when he didn't get chosen instead of like Maguire for the England national team, but he just hasn't lived up to that potential.
No, I think Inter might be the bigger threat. I think they have a better squad depth, but again, it's that thing with Inzaghi's not able to prepare well for league. That's probably where like their weaknesses are going to be. Because I'll tell you one little thing. So I have two buddies of mine, Interistas. In March, I remember March to mid-April, they wouldn't shut up saying how much they wanted to sack Inzaghi. The moment he started doing well, winning matches, then going to the finals, they shut up. So, yeah.
Well, it is still very early. I mean, the game is starting right now, actually, the Inter Milan game. So, I mean, let's watch that if we can. I'm actually going to cut this one a little bit shorter today because we are going to come back Monday. And Monday we can recap a little bit, talk a bit more what happened throughout the weekend, particularly this Inter Derby or Milan Derby, rather. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I'm most definitely throwing that one on.
Yeah,
gotta see how that one pans out.
So yeah, and especially because I am solo today, and I mean it's early. The crowd, we still have to live our days today. So this one I will make it a little bit shorter.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, Aaron, did you guys have any last minute anything you need to get off your chest before we kill it?
Not really. I mean, actually, kind of like Anthony's kind of like talking about Lukaku replacing Vlahovic. Only person I would be happy replacing Vlahovic if we were to have sold him would have been probably Jonathan David.
Yeah,
that would have been that probably would have been the only one that I would have taken.
And he would have been
for me. Okay, for me, I would have said Alvarez from Man City if we could have.
He would have been too expensive. He would have been too expensive.
Realistically. All right, guys. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, Frankie, Jeff, for joining. It was a great 3-1 win today. Great post game as well. And yeah, Monday, that's what we're gonna look at moving forward. Is instead of Dash was trying out the pre-recorded the week match day mixdown, we were calling it. I think we're just gonna do a full fun day Monday. I just said that.
Monday.
Oh boy, we'll have a fun day Monday. Yeah, we're gonna just break it down and go on the live. We're gonna chat it up and just talk European football in general and of course the Juve.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Fantastic being on.
It's time to hit the soft beat and roll this one out.
Peace out.
Peace out, everyone. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for joining. That's on Monday. Be there. We're gonna hit this up. Beautiful day. Still early for us North Americans. Catch the Milan Derby. Catch the F1. It's a great weekend. Juve woman won as well. Love you all. Forza Juve. Fino alla fine. Until Monday. Peace out. Love you all.